say welcome and hello everyone to the MadeFor Taster session. Why doing great CX means bringing the organization together. My name is LaShawn Newell Stevenson and I am the admissions manager here at MadeFor. And I will also be your moderator for today. I also have Barbara van der Linden with me, who will be producing today's session. So you can thank her for today's visuals and tech support. And it's really great to see you guys all here and to share our industry insights with you here today. So if you are all able to turn on your cameras, that would be great because we'd love to see your lovely faces and engage with you as much as possible. Also, we note, please note that this session is recorded. So please let us know if you do not want to be included in that, but it's just great to see everybody and have everybody engage. And also you will be able to share this recording afterwards once we post it to our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to share it with friends and other CX enthusiasts that would enjoy seeing something like this. And also, if you did not hear me before, there is a link to our Miro board in the group chat. So if you just click on that and then we can all join in for today's activities. And we do expect this session to evoke thoughts. So please use the chat once again to leave any questions that you may have throughout the sessions and we will answer them during the Q&A. So if we just move on to the next slide. So as I said, we'll be using Zoom and Miro to interact with you today. And the key objectives of today's session are understanding the risk of siloed CX teams and benefits of integrated capability, and reflecting on experiences. We will also have a Q&A to answer any questions you may have. So let me introduce you to our guest speaker for today, Agnese Spona, who is the Managing Director at MadeFor. I will now turn the session over to her and she will give you more insights to what she does and the processes and today's topic in general. So please welcome Agnese, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, thanks LaShawn. As I was introduced, my name is Agnese. I'm Managing Director of MadeFor. A little bit on my background. I've been working in digital roles more than 10 years. So it started with booking.com and then I moved into telco industry and then to building materials organization where I was running a product or managing product in a global level. My academic career or contribution is in the two universities here in the Netherlands, where I've been mentoring and supporting students in their last stages of their studies, in their thesis projects. I'm also very passionate about female empowerment in the business and in CX. So therefore, I'm a founding member of Women in CX community, as well as part of leadership committee of She Says Amsterdam edition. It's all about empowering females in their careers and empowering their journeys. Currently I'm running MadeFor, which is part of the customer bureau, therefore also a logo. And we are really all about making sure that we build the standards and capabilities within the customer experience field, which is brand new, booming, and I think super exciting for many aspects. The quote of my choice to present is that dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. I'm quite planner as a person, and I need to remind myself to dream more and dream bigger. So therefore, I kind of combine that, and this quote really inspires me when I need to get going and keep pushing and keep dreaming. That's really short about me. So today we also, from MadeFor perspective, we are closing the series about our bootcamps and about our content and about our approach to capabilities. And we are getting ready for a new series that we're going to launch in a couple of weeks, all about the celebrating amazing brands and their CX. So that is launching in a couple of weeks. But for now, this is a closing session, and thank you so much for being here. So let's just dive in. So what is in general the challenge with the organizational structures, departments, teams, and the customer experience. So we call this image a spaghetti slide. And why is it like that? So the green boxes are typical teams, structures, organizational departments, functions. No matter how organization is structured, usually you have this type of division. So for example, stores and marketing and digital, and you have e-commerce and website and online and many other possible ways, and customer service, of course, and many other teams and structures that exist in organization. So what they all do, they are producing an output. So they are responsible for something that they deliver as a team. Sometimes 2 teams work together on the same output, maybe 3 teams, but rarely everyone together. Of course, it would not make things efficient, and it's all understandable. But what happens is if those outputs are not connected and are not fully aligned, they generate the touch points or interactions, or you can call them in many different ways. And these touch points and interactions with customer, if they are not aligned, they generate experience that is not cohesive, or experience that might even contradict each other. And what happens then is then the customer becomes a bit confused, or they try to figure out or make sense of your brand, and it can damage really your brand perception, and eventually, of course, your revenues and goals as a brand. So it is quite interesting phenomena. And even though a lot of organizations talk about silos and breaking the silos and making sure everyone works together, it's rarely that you look from customer experience perspective on what needs to be delivered and then figuring out really how it all comes together. It's more about, okay, if we, for example, are a grocery business, we need to also do a home delivery business. And these businesses or these departments often have quite a far distance between each other. Or there's also a trend, for example, to create a digital or innovation laboratories in a company, because of course, customer experience is something that is changing fast, something that customer demands and requirements are really changing fast, and they're hard to adapt always. For organization, it's hard to adapt to that demand. So therefore, these kind of fast reactive laboratories or divisions have been created in an organization. But again, it is something siloed, it's something separate from the whole organization. And again, it can make that experience very different. So just a quick example, and sorry, Bart's Bees, that we keep picking on you. It's not really only them. There are plenty of brands like that. But what happens? So for example, Bart's Bees is a skincare brand. They really go to the market with the proposition that they're very sustainable, that they care about how they're what ingredients are in their product, how they've been tested, how they've been brought to the market. So their brand proposition and who they are as a company is all about that, all about being sustainable, being kind to the nature, being kind to the environment where you are, and being at the end kind to yourself when you use their products. However, of course, their business team, or I don't know which exactly team, have investigated how to sell and bring to the market most effectively their product, and they have chosen Amazon as their channel to sell. So what happens? For example, you look at Amazon and you find a Bart's Bees shampoo, you will buy it, but when the Bart's Bees shampoo come to you, it is packaged in Amazon's plastic and in a huge box because they didn't have appropriate size box, and it probably kind of makes that experience very strange because you see all that waste, all that packaging, but the product that you ordered, and maybe why you ordered that product, was because you care for the brand, you care for the purpose that brand actually represents. So I don't want to criticize this because, also in COVID times and everything, and brands trying to find their ways to the customer and through the channels where they are. But when you are so strong with your purpose and so strong with your proposition, then choosing channel like Amazon can actually damage your brand. And so that is something where you can clearly see that There are two different departments that working, and they're all trying to do the best for the business, but they're not doing best for their customer. And that's why also the theme of today's chat is about how delivering great customer experience actually can bring that organization together. And if we go further, yes. So at MadeFor, we're thinking about the capabilities instead of functions. So what does that mean? So there is a lot of pieces of strategy that comes into organization, a lot of digital capability, or a lot of digital roles and functions and people. There is a data, there is a lot of all these things that support organization to deliver their products, right, to the customers. But what we put in the center, and that's the pink line on top, is the customer journey. And customer journey can be expressed in many ways, right? So it can be different stages, and depending on the context, the customer journey stages can be different, depending on the organization, a bit different. But in the big lines, in the kind of general lines, we have identified these 5 stages of customer journey, where we start with consideration. It's everything around when customer is considering the brand. Then we move into the selection phase, how a customer can choose the product, then how they can purchase as a next stage. Then they are consuming the product. It can be digital, it can be physical, it can be through deliveries, many things. And then advocacy process, or like a post-care of the whole journey. And journey is not linear, even though it looks linear on this table. It can be in various different directions, and it can be unpredictable how customer actually goes through these stages. However, what is predictable, and as brand, as you should strive really to do, is control these touch points that your customer has with the brand. And for the purpose of explaining the capability model, we're choosing a very simple product as carrots. So imagine that you try to sell carrots to your customer. So I think everyone has bought a carrot in their lives, right? So you feel like it's a super simple proposition. However, when you go through the consideration, if you look at only consideration phase, you as a brand could think, okay, how do I promote my carrots? So where do I promote my carrots? What type of carrots I want to sell? What kind of channels I want to use to sell my carrots? What kind of channels I want to use to talk about my carrots? Do I want to sell them in the store? Do I want to sell them online? Do I want to sell different packaging? Do I want to have packaging for my carrots? There are millions of decisions that can go around just selling carrots. And imagine if you are a shop with thousands of articles, thousands of products that you need to sell. So this goes on, and it's a very, very complex process. So I don't want to make it sound like it's simple. However, when you think about the customer journey and what customer actually needs from the carrot, in this case, you make your job a bit simpler, and you can immediately see how it all comes together. So if your customer needs to buy carrot, you know exactly which capability an organization needs to support that journey for the customer to actually select your carrot and purchase it and be happy with their purchase. If you consider those various capabilities, so let's say we want to promote it on the website, we want to have no packaging product in a store, we want to talk about that on our social media, we want to make sure that we have provided that service that people can buy, for example, in bulk, their carrots. And we want to make sure that it also happens on digital side as well as in stores. So we need to make sure that our fulfillment works and our sales works and our channels work. So you already see that there are so many things coming together just to do that one thing. And what I want to emphasize here, so I don't want to go in very much detail on explaining each of the capabilities that we have identified as part of being essential in every organization to deliver that customer journey. Is just showing that if you as an organization think about customer journey as your kind of leading mechanism or the leading purpose, your capabilities or your functions or your teams, however you call them, they come together, and therefore it doesn't matter if you are from sales team or if you're from a strategy team, you all work together to that common goal. And it makes and it translates your work in a different way. So you as a, for example, service designer, or as a capability of a service design, you need to be able to help support every other capability to make sure that they know exactly what services they need to provide, and then support from their perspective, again, that purpose and why you need that service. So you need to support that customer journey. I can talk a lot about this, but I want to make sure that I take a pause and see if any sparkles, some questions or something that comes to your mind when you think about how this all comes together. Not yet? Okay. Okay. So what I will ask you to do then for now, and I'm just conscious of time, just think about brands where you have experienced that misalignment of maybe different departments delivering different outputs to your customer. For example, if you book a flight ticket from your office and then maybe take a look at the flights at your home, that there is different pricing. Or if you see a commercial about the brand that says that we are super sustainable and we care about the green environments, and then you maybe see the shop where everything is packaged in a plastic, or any other examples like that. If you could grab a sticky note, and I think Barbara will show the toolbar on the left side and that little note with the folded angle or folded corner. That's how you click on it. You grab a sticky note, you place it on the board. Yeah, like that. And you can just type in it. And if you could think of a brand that you have experienced recently, especially with all the deliveries and all the weird ways of how we shop now and how we adapt into the COVID environments. So can you think of a brand? So I think we give you like 1.5 or 2 minutes to think of, we have 2 minutes and we have a smooth groove in the background to allow you to put your brand down or explain the story. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have, for example, Albert Heijn and Jumbo. It's a Dutch supermarkets. So we have biological sections with lots of plastic packaging. I also always wonder that, like, you create a product and you make sure that you source it correctly, and then you plasticize it or plasticize it. Great example. What else we have? When I go to add an item in a basket, but then I go to pay it, tells me, yeah, it's sold out. Yeah, why get me excited? Exactly. That's what bad experience indeed. Local plant nursery providing only deliveries and how it affects the product received. Plant nursery. What is plant nursery? Whose example is that? I'm curious. No one will.
It's not my example, but a plant nursery, I think, is like a garden center, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they do only deliveries. Wow. I can imagine that can damage. What else we have? Wild fresh bread every day is their tagline, and then there is nothing when you show up at the store at 4 o'clock. Great example. Really great example. It means that they are not calculating the demand correctly. JD Sports, when I see something online as available in store, but it isn't when I get there. Yes, great example of departments not aligning. Casa, great shop though. When buying furniture online, they only allow pickups. Yes, I did that. I know that was quite a disappointing experience. You look at their shops and you can only pick up from a few stores, not all, resulting in having to drive to a store 30 minutes away. Crazy. Okay, so I think this amount of examples also shows how easy it is to spot as a customer these discrepancies that create that unaligned customer experience, because all touch points that brand generates for their customer to go through or to interact with the brand, they are not fully controlled, or they are not aligned indeed. So for example, departments are not connected enough, it doesn't work seamlessly enough together. So therefore, we really believe that by thinking about customer experience strategically, and thinking about it as something that needs to be managed as a overall process, can help your organization to connect and come together and work together. And that's how it can really improve the performance of the brand and, of course, customer experience. Okay, I will stop here, and I see maybe some questions are coming in.
Okay, so I think I'll help you out there, Agnes. Before we even go on to the questions, just thank you again for your session. And I guess we don't really think about how many interaction points we have in our everyday processes that look so straightforward to us. And does anybody have any questions for Agnes? Like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. She's here. So do you guys have any questions?
I was super convincing.
Someone had a good example, so maybe they can tell us about that. I saw in the chat.
Yeah, Melin in the chat, would you like to present an example?
Yeah, I just think, sorry, I thought exactly, well, I did the opposite of what you've said. So sorry, Agnes.
No.
But it's just been such a great experience finding, I think it was just through Instagram stories, because obviously I look for sustainable products. They've targeted me really well. And then I clicked on their website. It was a really easy journey, really welcoming, and they've explained their product really well. So I purchased it, but they've also then, it's a subscription product. So I found myself, actually, it was so good that I found myself subscribed to it. But they've also then helped you give your friends the chance to buy it. But I've by giving them free cases. So all they need to do is subscribe, and they pretty much get about £9 or something knocked out of their cost. So a lot of people, because of me, signed up to it. And then when the packages arrive, it is just a beautiful experience. So I absolutely loved like opening the package and reading the little notes, because they do a lot of play on words, because they're called wild. So it's like, welcome to the wild side, or like those little cute little notes, the way the case is done or the instructions were given. And then I had something wrong sent to me, so I've had to contact them on Instagram. I storied it on Instagram. They replied to me and said, oh, thank you for sharing, Melon, which felt personal, obviously, because I use my name. And then they replied to my problem real quickly and actually send me a replacement, because there was a mistake in one of the scents that they sent me, but they didn't send me one replacement, they sent 3 replacements. So I just thought it's a great experience. So now I've moved on to advocacy, and I'm sort of championing them, and they're not paying me for it.
But that's what we'd want to see. So Agnes, how would you describe that as a full process, to the point where you can experience good and bad with a company and still want to advocate for them?
Yeah, that's a true mastery of customer experience, and really actually controlling that, and being also as empowered as an organization to do so. So for example, that decision, I don't think that that's a protocol or policy, for example, that they're going to send you 3 replacements instead of 1, because it wouldn't really make sense. But maybe something in that communication, or the agent that was handling your process or your report decided to do so, or it could be also their policy, of course, but it's quite generous policy then, so that is again to making those decisions, making sure that you control that experience in full, and also to make sure that your employees and your company is aware of that purpose that you want to deliver as an organization, that experience that we want to deliver as an organization. So I also had a very small example. So acquaintance of mine launched her journal, like a magazine, actual magazine in the COVID times, actually physical magazine. They have, of course, blog and digital platforms and everything, but they also printed, and you could order that, and you could order the printed version, the first edition, and you have to pay only for shipping costs, not for the magazine itself. And when I received it, I received 2 copies. So I actually gave it to a friend, the other copy. So this is how you spread the word. And this is how to thinking about experience one step ahead, thinking about what is your purpose? So in their case, they're all about diversity, it's all about empowerment, to make sure that inclusivity is celebrated. Their content is what they want to spread. It's not that they want to make money from that one magazine sale. And that immediately, then they will fulfill that purpose. And it's driven in all their decisions in their customer experience design. So that's great examples. And there's plenty of companies that's really starting to get it, and they are standing out so much, and it's so inspirational. And I think for everyone, really, like when you share those examples, people feel inspired, people feel positive, people feel cared about. And that's what probably we expect from brands to move towards and also bigger companies that have harder time to respond to the demands of customers and requirements. It's much more complex. They still need to strive to get that cohesive understanding of what experience they want to deliver and what they are all about. Okay.
If I may, I have one question.
Okay. We'll squeeze one more in, Alita.
Yeah, quick one, just as a comment. With all your experience, for example, yesterday we had to buy a new Apple phone, and at the moment they don't transfer the data in the shops, and then we got all the troubles with that experience. And as we know, Apple gives almost no support online, and also we have had issues with Apple where their system corrupts the files that were very important. They don't take any responsibility for that, no service, none whatsoever. But still, Apple is a brand that almost doesn't have any negative publicity, and still the people are hooked up and still they buy it.
I think Apple is a very interesting case in a COVID context. I haven't done very thorough research on that, but they are one of the companies that have invested millions and millions in their customer experience design, and they've been always a front runner in this topic or in this kind of field. However, their response to COVID has been slow. They have had some incremental adoptions, but because it's I could guess several issues with that, maybe because it's very centralized business. So therefore that each country has a different regulations. They have to adapt the process in each country, and therefore they don't have maybe that capability internally to actually do that and respond to customer needs locally fast enough. So in this case, if I would be Apple, in a moment when UK opens the terrace, you open a terrace or you open something that where you can have some sort of support to your customer, or you launch a digital way how to do it. You have Zoom chats, you have something that you can book. So there's plenty of ways how to do it, but I don't know, like maybe someone else from the group knows or have heard more about how Apple is responding in a COVID situation. So what's the challenge? But my guess really is about that not being capable to react fast locally enough. So they are not they're not operating as a local business. They're very global. So so then they don't move and they get stuck. And their customer experience is really, really suffering at the moment. You can really see that, and it's very interesting.
Okay, does that answer your question, Anita? Perfect. So I will round up. I do apologize, we have gone over a little bit, but we did get some extra gems. So we're always grateful for that. So again, Agnes, thank you for hosting today. And thank you for everybody for attending, and as we really enjoy the session. Also, we are just launching a quick poll that you've just seen pop up. We do want to make sure that we are improving our experiences in our lunchtime session. So please, if you could fill this out, that would be great. And I just want to remind you guys that in 2 weeks, we are launching our new series, which is dedicated to the great CX that's in forward thinking brands. And we hope to see you at our future events. So please keep an eye out on our event page and our social media. And also, I'd like to remind you guys that you can follow us on all our social media at MadeForCX on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And also check out our website, madeforcx.com. And you can also use the contact page there to reach out to the MadeFor team for any inquiries you guys may have. So thank you very much for sharing your lunchtime with us, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.